Hello, boys and girls. I'm so glad you're here to join us for Bible Jams. This is where you at home join us here as we open the pages of God's Word and we pull out lessons from God that teach us how to love Him and how to enjoy being children of God. I wonder what our Bible gem is for today, and I know we'll find it in the Bible chest that's hidden around here somewhere. Where is it at? It's up there on the stairs, and Jude is going to open up the Bible chest and find a clue that's going to help us figure out what story the Bible has for us today. Come on down here, Jude, and let's see what that clue is and what it might mean. I see you have a Bible gem rolled up there, and then I see you have something else in your hand. What does that look like?
A bag.
A little pouch, and go ahead and open that up and see what's inside that pouch there. Just pour it out into your hand. Oh my. Hold it out there so we can all see what it is. Let's see. Can we hold it all out there? Put it right here in my hand. Look at that. What is this? Money. Specifically, it's coins, isn't it? What could we do with coins like this? Well, we could save them, right? These are pretty good-looking coins. These are gold-looking coins. We could go to the store, and what would you do at the store with something like this?
I would buy something.
Ah, yes. I could buy something that you've been saving for. I can tell you what most people don't want to do with coins like this. They don't want to lose them, and they don't want to pay it to the tax collector. Let's put these back in here because I wonder what these coins have to do with our story. There's a lot of places that you could find coins like this. Maybe how many of you found a coin in a parking lot and you said, I want that one? Raise your hand if you found a coin in the cushions of your couch. Maybe in a pocket of some pants you wore the day before. But have you ever found a coin in some place that's so strange that you think somebody must have put this here on purpose? Let's listen to this Bible gem and see what this has to do with this little bag of coins right here. And this one comes from one of the Gospels. It's the book of Matthew, chapter 17, verse 27. It says, "But we don't want to make these tax collectors angry, so go to the lake and fish. After you catch the fish, the first fish, open its mouth. Inside its mouth, you will find a coin." Inside of what? Inside of a fish's mouth. That sounds kind of interesting. Take that coin and give it to the tax collectors. That will pay the tax for you and me. Well, I'm still interested to find out what this story is all about with a fish and some coins and a tax collector. Do you want to hear this story too?
Yes.
So do I.
Hello, everyone. How are you today? Good. That's good. Elaine, I'm going to need some help cleaning up this afternoon. It is a big mess. Do you think you could help me?
Oh, no, she couldn't do that.
Well, thank you. Boo. Okay. Lydia, do you know I make the most amazing dinner rolls? Would you like to try some?
No, she won't be eating that.
Thank you. Well, everyone, I would love to have a Bible study at my house this evening. Do you think you all could come?
Oh, yes, they'll all be there. There's no doubt in my mind.
Wow, you just know the answer for everyone, don't you? Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, since she knows the answer for everyone, I guess I have no more questions to ask. But do you think maybe she needs to learn a lesson? I don't know, we'll see.
If anyone desires to be first, he shall be last of all and servant of all.
What you just heard was Jesus teaching his disciples a lesson about humility. Do you know what humility means? You see, what does humility mean?
Being humble.
Yes, to be humble. The disciples were always trying to be the best. Oh, I want to sit next to Jesus when he sits on his throne. I want to be part of his kingdom. I want to be the best. I want to be the best. Can you be the greatest if you try to be the best all the time? No. The people who are the greatest are the ones who listen to and obey the voice of God. So there was a disciple who had to learn this lesson too. And his name was Peter. And one day Peter was taking a walk with Jesus, and two temple tax collectors came to him to ask him some questions.
I'll take this. Excuse me.
Yes.
Your name is Peter, correct?
Yes, it is.
You're one of the Master's 12 disciples, aren't you?
Yes, one of the few.
Well, we have some questions for you.
Does your master?
Although we don't think you can answer it.
Uh-oh. The question they were about to ask was actually not about Peter at all.
What was your question,
actually
sir?
about Jesus.
Does your master pay the temple tax or not?
Don't worry, Master. I've got this. Of course, he pays the temple tax.
Uh-oh. Peter answered the question, but he didn't answer the question before he thought about it. You see, Jesus could read the hearts of these people, and their hearts were not pure at all. They were up to something bad. And guess what? Did Peter give the right answer? He actually gave the wrong answer. But did Jesus embarrass him and say, "Oh, Peter, you silly man, why did you say that?" Nope, he didn't do that. Jesus didn't make a big scene. He just continued to walk with Peter. And as they were walking, they began to enter a house, but Jesus stopped, and he asked Peter a question.
What do you think? Do kings tax their own people or the people that they have conquered?
Well, I would think it's the people that they conquer that they would tax.
Well, then the king's citizens are free then.
What did Jesus mean by this question? What do you think he meant? Who do you think owned the temple? Who asked the people to build the temple? Who was it?
God.
God, yes, God owned the temple. And who was God's son? Jesus was God's son. So if Jesus is God's son and God owns the temple, did Jesus have to pay to go into the temple? No. Think of it this way. Let's say, Nolan, let's say your father owns a field, a big field, and you go to him and say, "Daddy, can I go and plant some seeds in your field?" And your daddy says, "Of course you can plant some seeds. You can plant as many seeds as you want." And so you happily go to plant the seeds in the field, but then the servants stop you and say, "You cannot plant in this field. You have to pay. You have to pay." But my daddy said I can plant in this field. "Oh, I'm sorry, you can't plant in this field." Do you think that is good what the servants are doing? No. Do you think they're being thieves? Do you think they're lying? Yes. So these temple tax collectors were also up to a bad thing. They were trying to trap Jesus by asking these questions. You see, if Jesus said, "Yes, I pay the temple tax," they'll say, "You're not the Son of God," because the Son of God wouldn't have to pay the tax. But if Jesus said, "No, I don't pay the temple tax," then they would have said, "Jesus doesn't pay the temple tax. Jesus doesn't pay the temple tax. He's a bad man," and then everyone would be against him. But Jesus was wise, and Peter should have let Jesus handle it. But Jesus is wise, and he knows what he's doing, so he had another plan. This is what he said. He said, "Because we don't want to offend those two men, let's go down to the lake, Peter, and you throw in a line. And you open the mouth of the first fish that you catch, and you will find a large silver coin. Take that coin and pay the tax for both of us."
Okay.
So Peter went fishing that day because he had a special lesson to learn. So he came back, and he had caught that fish with the coin in its mouth, just as Jesus had said.
You know, there's some lessons in life that you'll just never forget. And this is one of them. I grew up as a fisherman, and I thought I was a pretty good one. And then I met Jesus, and he taught me a special lesson. You see, I depended on catching fish to make money to pay for the things that I needed. But do you know, when I met Jesus, he made me catch all of these wonderful fish that I couldn't catch myself. And he taught me to depend on him. But then, as time went on, I forgot how to depend on Jesus. But when Jesus had me catch this fish and this money, he taught me that not only does he own the fish, but he owns the money as well. I can depend on Jesus for everything if I keep my eyes on him.
Amen. Oh, there's our interrupting girl.
Aunt Sasha, I'm sorry what I said earlier. I learned that I need Jesus to control my words, and I shouldn't just say anything that comes to my mind.
Oh, I'm so glad you learned that lesson. That's beautiful.
Well, I'm glad she learned that lesson too and was willing to make things right and ask God to help her to be humble. Isn't it wonderful that God cares about each one of us like that? I've got a couple of questions to ask about the story here. The first question is this: why did the tax collectors ask Peter if Jesus paid the temple tax? Was it because they needed more money for the temple, or because they forgot that Jesus forgot his name in the records, or because they were trying to catch Jesus in a trap? Let's hear from Caleb.
They're trying to catch Jesus.
That's
to
right.
kill him.
They thought that they could outsmart Jesus, but he knew what they were thinking, and isn't it wonderful that he did? Let's ask one more question here. What did Jesus tell Peter to do? To explain to the tax collectors that Jesus didn't have to pay the tax? To go ask a friend for money? Or to go down and go fishing? Ezekiel, what do you think? Just a moment here.
To go get a fish.
That's right. If I needed a coin, would I go and go fishing? No, that wouldn't be what I would do. Sometimes people, they go fishing and they say my fish was this big, but Peter could say my fish was this rich. It had money that God put in there. Following Jesus is sometimes surprising because I wouldn't expect to find a coin inside a fish's mouth. But whenever you follow Jesus, it's always rewarding because it puts us where God can do miracles that we can't do ourselves. How many of you kids want to see God work in your life and to do the things for us that we can't do for ourselves? I know I do, and I'm sure grateful that Peter was able to learn this lesson of humility and trusting God as well. I can't wait for the next Bible Gems with you. We'll see you again next time when you come back, kids.